That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
What is up, everyone? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Monday Night Lights. I am your host, Keisha King Benton. And we got quite a show for you tonight. So that was Erika Kirk, obviously Charlie Kirk's widow. What's up to the chat? Hi, Jesus loves you, Mrs. Graves. As you guys come on in, please hit the like button. Please share this out and subscribe. Did you guys see the memorial? Quite moving, quite stunning. Every time I hear the part where she forgives, she forgives the assassin, it brings me to tears. You know, it takes incredible strength, you know, to forgive someone who has wronged you. You know, forget forgiving someone who has taken away your husband, the children of the father of your children, totally just, you know, rearrange your entire life, all your dreams, all of your hopes, you know, that you got, all of your plans that you were thinking about doing, just interrupted by a stranger, you know, who you know, that morning probably, you know, was thinking and planning and just all the evil was just completely taking him over, while Charlie was just, you know, coming to preach the gospel and debate these press back against the narratives that these young people, these young adults have been fed. And he was killed just for that. And it really does highlight the problem that we have in our country, where people feel offended to the point of murder because of somebody's words. Like, it's crazy because it's all about words, honestly. The media, the left in all of their institutions keep pushing these words of, oh, you know, everybody on the right is a Nazi, everybody on the right is Hitler, you know, everybody on the right is just all these evil things, and all, you know, they use these words to describe us, right? And their narrative, their conclusion that we are all these awful people or something akin to them, is because of Charlie's words, Trump's words, our words, even the words of Christ. These people deem you are a Nazi if you repeat the words of Christ, because that's what they were calling Charlie. That's what they are calling, you know, that's what they've been calling all of us for years. These people, they're so blinded by the lies, and their minds have been turned over to themselves, and you know, you become a reprobate. But through it all, to God be the glory, because this martyrdom that has happened, Charlie Kirk being a martyr, has lit a revival across not just our country, but I would say across the world. That I've just never seen anything quite like this before. And when I see Erika Kirk, it just reinforces the kind of man that Charlie Kirk was. I mean, for his wife to get up there and say, I forgive this man. I mean, some folks can't even forgive their parents, their mama, who didn't show up to all their basketball games. Okay. Like, we're talking about people who spend time in therapy because, they're having trouble forgiving their father who was rushing off to work and ran over their pet. They're on therapy couches. They're struggling to forgive their mother and their father and their sisters for far less. And she forgave the man who assassinated her husband. But when she said those words, and every time I hear them, it's like something in the spirit breaks, something in the spirit shifts every time she says it. And, I don't know if it's something that, she has to kind of, is it going to come over time? Because I know when I've had to forgive people, and it's things that that were very deep. And it for me, it didn't happen all at once. I don't know about you all, but it didn't happen all at once. It was like I had to keep saying it. I had to keep speaking it, and wanting to forgive, having a heart to want to forgive, but knowing that I wasn't quite there yet. But every time you pray about it, every time you speak it, it's like it gets a little bit easier. And because Erika spoke those powerful words across the world, I feel like something broke, because it shows, and it's not going to change everybody. We know that. But the people that it was supposed to reach, the people who needed that breakthrough, the people who would look at her and say, my God, if she can forgive, then I can forgive. And because you can forgive, that you can truly accept God's free gift of salvation, because God says if we don't forgive, he can't forgive us. We can't get into the kingdom with unforgiveness in our hearts, because part of the gospel is knowing that we don't deserve it. Like, the gospel doesn't click until you recognize your own waywardness, your own ability to do exactly what that young man, to do what he did. Not saying that, I mean, most of us will never have to go through that, but you got to forgive. You have to forgive. And it may take you some time, but you need to get there as quickly as possible, because we can't get into the kingdom unless and until we forgive. And so I want to play some other clips from the memorial that was very touching to me, and I think you guys will appreciate it too. And then we're going to lighten it up a little bit. We're going to talk about Candace Owens. We gotta talk about it, because it's just been a hot mess over this past 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. And I want to talk about it. And we're also going to add a couple more laughs to it. We got to talk about Megyn Kelly. Y'all are going to love this. We're going to have a good show tonight. So my friend Caitlin Colgate says, I forgave my dad's killer almost right away. Like I said it very fast, but I just would keep saying it and believing it. And eventually I did. Maybe that was her start. I truly believe that. I believe it, Caitlin. And my God, I did not know your father was murdered. Y'all, I've known Caitlin for quite some time, probably maybe almost 10. Has it been 10? I don't think it's been quite 10 years, but we've known each other for quite some time. I'm actually going to be going on her show soon, and I will let you know when I go on there. But God bless you, Caitlin. I did not know that. Miss Graves. Hi, Miss Graves. You know, I love you. You're my girl. She says, yes, real time in prayer. Real time in prayer. Ms. Graves also said, and for God to have brought her to Charlie, knowing in forethought she has the strength to get through this. Okay. And I just want to say I've been praying, and I want to ask you guys to pray this prayer too in your prayer time. I've been praying that God go before their children, that He goes. We know that God is outside of time, that God paves the way, goes before their children. So when they are seeing, when they get older and they're starting to ask more questions, that God just keeps them, protects them, prayer that they don't see anything that would just mess them up. You know what I'm saying? I'm praying that God just shields them from those who would wish them harm, that He shields them, from just thoughts that might enter their mind. Oh God, why me? Why my father? Whatever the enemy tries to plant. I am praying that God just goes before them and just clears the way. We know that their life is not going to be without trouble, but I am praying that for some things that, God's mercy and His love and protection for these babies, that it just covers them, that they don't thoughts just don't creep into their mind, that just don't need to be there. If they do, they're just dismissed right away. I am praying that. So I ask for you guys to join me in prayer. Praying that over those babies as well. So what I didn't now, of course, I've heard of Turning Point. I've met Charlie at Mar-a-Lago at that for that matter. um, y'all know, just playing. But and I knew the things that Turning Point was doing, but I did not know the core mission that is being revealed now. It's clear that the core mission of Turning Point has been to strengthen these young men, and in turn that would get the women together, and in turn that would strengthen the American family, strengthen the family. That's what this whole thing was about. And I'm just like, my God, that is truly the answer. That is truly the answer. From the beginning, God established the family. It is the bedrock of any successful society. You cannot deviate from God's plan and think things will turn out okay. We can see that in our own society. So this part touched me as well, and it more so revealed the mission that Charlie was on.
Charlie perfectly understood God's role for a Christian husband, a man who leads so that they can serve. To all the men watching around the world, accept Charlie's challenge and embrace true manhood. Be strong and courageous for your families. Love your wives and lead them. Love your children and protect them. Be the spiritual head of your home. But please be a leader worth following. Your wife is not your servant. Your wife is not your employee. Your wife is not your slave. She is your helper. You are not rivals. You are one flesh working together for the glory of God.
Let me just pause and say, I don't know if many married people understand that that is what marriage is. I wonder that sometimes. Like, I wonder if people understand, like, marriage is supposed to be a representation of Christ and the church. It is for our good and his glory. That's why it's more than just, two people just coming together in love. It's a covenant. It is so it is the very representation of uh that marriage between Christ and the church. And I don't think a lot of people realize that.
I was Charlie's confidant. I was his vault, his closest and most trusted advisor, his best friend. I poured into him and loved him so deeply, empowered him, because his love for me drove me to be a better wife. Every day he honored me, and I prayed that I could be the wife that God needed me to be for my husband. Women, I have a challenge for you too. Be virtuous. Our strength is found in God's design for our role. We are the guardians. We are the encouragers. We are the preservers. Guard your heart. Everything you do flows from it. And if you're a mother, please recognize that is the single most important ministry you have.
I mean, you talk about, okay. So if y'all have been in politics for a little while, we, especially on the Republican side, we all know that Republicans, when you go to a Republican event, you're going to say you're going to pray, you're going to say the pledge, and you're going to sing somebody going to sing the national anthem or play. Okay. Those things you're going to pray. Okay. And so because we are, the party believes in prayer, obviously we kind of associate most people who will get up there and pray and do those kinds of things as people being saved. But we all know, we see that they're not really saved. This family, the Kirk family, oh, they saved for real. Okay. Like, you can hear in the way she speaks that she knows the word, and that only comes by being in the word. You can tell when people really know their word. When you see things like this, like she just said, guard your heart, because out of it flows the issues of life. Like, that's the Bible. And it's just like those verses that you got to know. It's like, if you know, you know. Powerful. Very, very powerful. This memorial, this martyrdom, this assassination it has changed, and it is changing the whole world. I truly believe that the hand of God is, not only did we get Trump, I said from the beginning that was God's grace. This assassination, although it is so incredibly hurtful and sad and heartbreaking, and just, it is those things, fully those things. It is only God who can take what the enemy meant for evil and turn it around for our good, because God knows. The people that are going to church again, the people that are picking up their Bibles again, the atheists are picking up, though, they are curious to what this hope is that is beaming from Erika and that was beaming from Charlie when they went back and watched his videos. I do not see the enemy messed up again, just like when they killed Jesus and they thought that it was over, but he got up on the third day. They killed Charlie, the enemy, and it is resurrecting believers, old believers. They waking up, they coming up out of their grave. It is a revival. I have never seen anything like this before in my entire life. Never. Never ever. Yes, Mrs. Grace, an outpouring of the Holy Spirit that needed to be poured upon this country like never before. I've just never seen it. And as these new believers are coming in or old believers coming back, we who have been enduring in the faith, we have to help them and disciple them. So now is not the time for any of us to pull back. You got to start talking to your neighbors. You got to talk to the people in the grocery store. Do you know the Lord? Do you know him? Do you want to know him? Have you given your life to Christ? I don't know. Whatever you need to rehearse it, whatever you need to do to start reaching out and talking to people. And people were getting baptized at Turning Point. Stop it. Come through. I did not know that. But we can't be we can't be pulling back. We got to go like never before, because y'all see, I think the time is short. The time is short for Jesus to come back, and we can see that people are being hardened in their ways. If you saw what happened to Charlie Kirk, and you call yourself a Christian, and you still got in a pulpit and said that this man of God was racist and all the evils in the world, your heart has been hardened so hard that you cannot see the truth. And so when God starts giving these people over like that, when it's so blatantly clear, y'all, we got to, this is like, we are in it. We are in the thick of it. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. I'm like, I feel I feel like this has put a battery in my back. I'm like, who wants smoke? I am like, let's get it. I'm ready to cut the head off the enemy. I am just so, I'm energized. I am motivated. I'm inspired. I am, and it's like all of this is coinciding with what God has already been doing in our life, in the Benton household. I am just like, let's get it. Let's get it. I'm ready to go to war. Like, I'm rest to go. I'm here for it all day long. I don't want to miss the moment. I don't want to miss the moment. And I don't want to be sitting on the sidelines. I want to be in it. When we get to heaven, and I know, yeah, I know the Bible says that we won't remember these things. I just like to fantasize, that when I get there, that I'll see people like Charlie, and I'm definitely going to see my father and just be talking about, oh, what a time we had whooping up on the devil. Like, oh, what a time it was. I guess, when do you guys know that we will judge Satan, all the enemies of God. We judge them. Those that try to literally make our lives hell, pull them over into their kingdom of darkness. We will sit with Jesus and judge them. Isn't that crazy? So, I mean, it just gives me joy. It just gives me joy. God is just, he is good. And I am just I'm just so energized. I'm trying to think of other ways to describe this, but I'm ready to go. I'm ready to war, not physically, obviously, because this is not a earthly battle, but in the spirit. And I'm ready to pull more people in, because the more people that we can bring into the kingdom. I hate to use the word infect, but the more people we can infect with this Holy Ghost, the more people that we can, lead them to Christ, and bring them on in. Let's make heaven crowded, as Charlie would say. I'm with it. I'm just here for it. I am energized. Truly. Let me play this other one. Um, this is really good too.
I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us. The world needs Turning Point USA. It needs a group that will point young people away from the path of misery and sin. It needs something that will lead people away from hell in this world and in the next. It needs young people pointed in the direction of truth and beauty. And so I promise you today, every part of our work will become greater.
Just incredible strength. Incredible strength. I when she made the speech from the Turning Point office, I said then I don't know if I could have done that. And I think I'm a pretty strong woman. But I I would pray that would have that kind of strength, but I'm just not sure. I am just not sure. But we I want to address this. So DT said, I've struggled with the contrast between the eye for an eye God of the Old Testament versus the turn the other cheek God of the New Testament, until I realize which is hardest is the true ideal. And yes, so I do believe that we are supposed to turn the other cheek in, as far as like within ourselves, um and forgive. But the government, whose job it is to protect its citizens, can absolutely exact justice, the eye for an eye, in this scenario. Now, we don't have the power as, just everyday citizens to go and we should be turning the other cheek with, you know, one another. If something happens, we don't try to hurt people, and things like that. Or if somebody wrongs us, we don't try to exact vengeance on them. But this person has been caught, and I do believe that it is just for him to receive the death penalty. That is I don't see those things as equal, because that is the government's job to exact justice and keep the law. That is their job, because it protects us. um so I definitely believe that. Hi, Alethea. um but those are my beliefs. I'm pretty sure there's other people who believe different. Yes, it was, the worship service was incredible. And people, I saw people like Oh my gosh, like you got the pyrotechnics and okay, like I'm Protestant and we always view funerals as homegoing celebrations. Like it literally it's wrote on the obituary. Like we do because as believers, we don't see it as a death. We see it as them going home to glory. So yes, it is a celebration. So that was weird, probably for a lot of Catholics. They were like, "Oh my word!" Clutching their rosary, I guess, or whatever. Like, what is this? Yes, that's how we do. We don't believe in. We know that you can't kill Christians. You can't. We don't die. We multiply. So yes, it's just like they're going on to glory, and it's an honor and a celebration of their life. So oh, DT says, what I meant by my statement, Keisha, is that turning the other cheek is far harder, having nothing to do with the judicial system and whether or not his murderer should be punished. Yeah, it is. It is hard because, baby, let me tell you, if like, I don't even want to think. I don't even want to. I don't even want to think about those. Some things I just don't even want to think about. Okay, on to the kind of it's fun, but it's sad at the same time. Y'all, Candace has lost it. The girl, I just don't even know what has happened to the poor child. Like she is up there. She was talking about Charlie's pastor telling him to be quiet. His pastor, okay? She has all of these ridiculous conspiracies and and it's just all last week it was just all about her, all about Candace, like so much so that other popular people were coming on and saying like basically like, is she okay? It really made you wonder what is wrong. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but how people say like, who hurt you? Not in a funny way, but there is a lack of compassion that should be in someone, in a mother and a wife, that she is not displaying. And so it made me think like, she never really talks about her parents. She talks about her grandfather. We're talking about her, at least from what I've seen. So y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I wonder if there is some kind of motherly, that she didn't really have a relationship with her mother, because she doesn't come off like a woman who didn't have a good relationship with a good male role model. I'm thinking she's coming off as someone who maybe didn't have a good relationship with their mom. It's just very bizarre, very very bizarre. Here is one. Um, here's one of the things she said. I forgot to label them. So here we go.
I said, there is no way we are going to this event now. There's a 0% chance. First and foremost, why are you saying invite? Anybody can go to it. You just buy a ticket to the event, and you're all working to try to get me to confirm that I'm going. And you're doing this as if you're trying to like push my buttons and be like, we got to make her get into her ego so she like shows up and like posts it on social media. Nope. Actually, while I'm attacking the feds, maybe not going to a public event, which the feds are organizing, is probably a very good idea. I'm good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna listen to Power on my headphones and go see Ye. How's that for a memorial for Charlie Kirk? That feels like the right thing for me to do right now.
Like, what in the world? Didn't you say that you're like Charlie's best friend and y'all were close and you were friends to the day he died? How in the world would you not go to his funeral? if it was just that if it was just what she said, the FBI and the this and the that, and I'm criticizing the FBI, so I can't go. I wouldn't give a doggone if that was my. You said you are the Mason. She said, I am the Mason of Turning Point. You're the Mason of Turning Point, but you're not gonna. It would take everything in me. The FBI, I wouldn't be worried about no FBI. I would be going to my friends. I would go to show my last respects to my friend. Did she even get to show her last respects at all? Probably not, because she has been so disrespectful to this family all week, the whole week and a half. Oh, we just getting started. The girl went completely nuts. It was just like, somebody please sit her down. This cannot be how you respond when your good friend dies. I don't give a doggone if you hadn't talked to Charlie in 2 years. If that what happened should have suspended everything. I don't even know how you could have done a show. I don't know if she was trying to show strength, but it just came off as just it just said, it's all about me. I don't give a damn if Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna get these clicks. I'm gonna drip this stuff out. I'm gonna make this be about me. I made a joke with my husband. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Candace was like, how could I, die and still stream, and still make it about me. I know that's like crazy, but I'm just saying, like, that's how she was coming off. Like, she was willing to do anything and everything to keep making this about her. It was just sick. Here's another one.
Do know is we're not getting the full story because
hold on.
What I do know is we're not getting the full story because I just spiritually know that more people are involved, okay? So I would discern that we are looking, just vibe again, 2 different people would be my thing. 2 different people. I think the person in the maroon that's walking is different from the person that's walking up the stairs. It's a gut thing, okay? I don't know, but I know. Okay, I don't know, but I know. We don't know, but we know something made its way around the entire town and into my tips line repeatedly. It is a very clear image of Tyler Robinson, allegedly taken, I'll say allegedly for safety here. We can now plot this change, this alleged Dairy Queen stop onto our timeline. We were very accurate when we started getting really serious about looking at a timeline. I like a clean timeline. Well, there we go. 6:38 p.m. We get this confirmed photo, or I shouldn't say a confirmed photo, an alleged photo. He writes, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty die-hard MAGA. There's something here for everyone if you want to take the low-hanging fruit and think of this as left versus right, right? So if you're like, on the right, you're like, I need to blame the left, then it's like, whoa, the trans thing is here. But if you're on the left and you need to blame the right, well, dad was a die-hard MAGA. It's so fed. It's just so federally written. It's amazing. So chaos right here. Says to Lance, allegedly, quote, I worry about Prince. I had to leave it, referring.
Okay. All right. I can't. Let me say this. We would not know, no one would know everything by now. Now, I don't know if Candace knows this. I mean, she should, because since she's been involved in so many lawsuits and stuff, when you are collecting evidence, okay, they're not just collecting evidence to tell the public, to make us have better YouTube shows. They're not just collecting the evidence to show the public what happened. They are collecting evidence for a trial. They're going, the prosecution has to collect evidence in a certain way so that to make sure that it is permissible in court. You can't just, even if I actually, first of all, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, Candace, or know that much to believe that that there is a ring here. We have seen a lot of these trans shooters, these Antifa trans people. Andy No has done a lot of reporting. I showed you guys. We talked about this when we were talking about the last one, the last shooter in the school, Catholic school. It's not you. I don't know how else to say it, but you're not saying anything that is, that's not a genius thing to conceive that there's probably a lot of these, a ring of people because of all of the trans. I'm just saying, Candace, you're not really, that's not a flex, okay? The other thing is, just because, let's say they found that the guy was talking to other people, they can't then go barge into the people that he's been talking to, barge into their homes and grab all their electronics. They have to go to a judge. They have to get a warrant. The warrant has to be, approved by this judge. And then they can go. And some things, we don't even know what the warrant is, because depending on the information, some things might be allowed to be looked at and some things aren't. It's not just, I know we're very like microwave. We think like Law and Order is like the case is going to be solved in an hour. That's not the real world. These people live online too much. Candace sitting there talking about Nick Fuentes. I just think he's a child that lives online too much. I think she live online too much. You think that this is supposed to be wrapped up in 30 minutes? So you can binge watch and jump to the next episode? This is real life. It doesn't work that way. And we would want those who are working on this case to cross their T's and dot their I's, because the last thing we would want is for this crazy person to get off on a technicality or something, which happens. Ever heard of OJ? You know what I'm saying? Like, what in the world are we talking about? Like, there are processes to keep the integrity of the case and protect this man's rights, which he does have. Thank you, Mrs. Graves. And they can't even reveal all of the intricate details, especially if there are other people involved. Like, I don't know, like, this is just not that hard to me. It's just not that tough to understand that there is a process, and who would think that we would have all this information by now? Okay. And then let me get to the text messages, okay? Because everybody's like, oh my God, this doesn't sound like what somebody, let me pull them up so we can look at them. Now, where am I? Now, there are so many conspiracy theorists talking about these text messages. Oh, come on. Hold on, y'all. One second. Let's look at this, okay? Because hopefully this will help some of yous. Because people really thinking they freaking Sherlock Holmes and they just full of nonsense. I promise you this is going to make a lot of sense when I tell you, when I add this narrative, this thought to these texts. Okay, here we go. All right, so can y'all see that? I don't even, let's see. Okay, so it says, okay, so the shooter called the roommate or texted him and told him to look under the keyboard, and there was a note, and it said something like, I forgot what the note said, but so here are the messages. He says, I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while yet longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. The roommate said, roommate, which I don't even know why why they say roommate, because it was his boyfriend. They say that more like Inspector Gadget. That's funny. He's like, you weren't the one who did it, right? And the shooter says, I am. I'm sorry. And the roommate says, I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed. Okay. Anyway, I'm not even going to read all that. Here's my point. They're like, he's using words like negotiated and squad car and interrogated. And okay, when I first moved to Connecticut, we moved from Florida to Connecticut. When we first moved there, my sister, my older sister, and I, we had this little book that we were writing down all of these slang words that they used in Connecticut that we did not know what the heck they meant, being from the little town in Florida. And when we would get home from school, we would write the words and like put the definitions next to them so we could educate ourselves on how they spoke in Connecticut, because it was very different from how you speak in Lake City, Florida. Okay? They are in Utah. They're Mormons. They're probably going to talk a little bit different. They're going to talk in different ways because that's how that's what happens around our nation. You can literally be in Florida and or on the East Coast, and over here we say highway. On the West Coast, they say the freeway. So you're like, oh, um, what's the freeway if you're trying to talk to somebody? Like, it's just, I'm not saying that there is not anything nefarious going on, because we don't know. And I'm not saying that there is anything nefarious going on as far as the case and this person. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is there are some legit, reasonable, rational explanations on why he talks like that. And it sounds weird to pretty much everybody else around the country. They're in Utah. They're Mormon. He's autistic. And his father is a cop. He's been a cop his whole life. So I'm just thinking maybe that's how he's been trained to think and talk, being around a father who is a cop. It's so I'm doing like Dr. Seuss rhymes here, because this stuff, if you just think about it just a little bit, you might, there might be some reasonable explanations for these things. I'm just saying. Andre says in the Midwest, E-way. See, if somebody would have said, "Hey, I'm gonna go, just go on the E-way," I would be like, "What the heck is that?" Some people say interstate, highway, freeway, E-way. Like, who knows? This dude, his father's a cop. The squad. I mean, he's 22 years old. This sounds like, he grew up in a house around cops. Like, I okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do not 100% know. Let me correct that. I do not 100% know that he is autistic. However, I saw him reading this paper when he got into college, and he just seemed a little, I'm not trying to be, I have a special needs child myself. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny or anything. He just seemed atypical, like an atypical child. He seemed a little autistic, and we do know that autistic kids do tend to go the way of the trans thing. It's a real big thing with autistic. It's mostly been found in autistic girls, but I think we can see like these children tend to, be a little bit different. I'll just say it like that. Yes, Mrs. Graves, different. The boyfriend is also a furry. Thank you, Paul. The boy. So I am still okay. I don't expect somebody who likes to sleep with somebody dressed up like a furry and I don't even know all the stuff that go on with that. But I like this. I'm surprised it doesn't sound crazier, honestly, because you out here with furries. That's not normal. So I wouldn't expect his writings to be normal. I don't expect his thoughts to be normal. I don't expect really anything to be normal. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't be a shooter. I'm just saying, Mrs. Owens, or sorry, Mrs. Farmer, you're going to have to do better than that. And for all of those people who just think that she's just on it and watch the video, I ain't got to do all that because I can think for myself and I don't want to just be saying stuff that don't make no sense. you know? Let's continue. Okay, so that's the text messages. Let me move on from that. What else?
Right now, to those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me. Okay? And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat. This is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me. I will release every single text message. So to those of you who are trying that, I'm seeing the messages, I am telling you to back off right now. Like right now, don't do it, okay? Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair, okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure can be arranged.
Let me tell you something. She better be glad it's Erika Kirk, because there are plenty of us who aren't quite there yet, okay? You threatening and doing all this, but you wouldn't even bother to go to his funeral? Child, get out of my face. And what you finna do? What you finna do? You claim that Israel is controlling everything. Somehow you still talk so much crap that people who may not have, really thought that much of Israel, they like them even more now because of you. Like, I thought you said that Israel has all this power and just, you wake up in the morning and they make the sun turn around. So why wouldn't how you supposed to be so big bossed up and about to pull up on people with Israel just is still on the loose? What you gonna do? I thought they were all powerful. Like, you see, this, it just doesn't make sense. If a nation had all of this power that she and all these people claim that they do, why is she still around here flapping her gums with all of her millions upon millions of influence, of people that she can influence? I'm just saying, like, Charlie, because she's inferring that Israel had something to do with his death, but he was a supporter of Israel. So why in the world, with their messaging and their PR going down the tubes, and people, thinking that Israel is just this big bad boogeyman from the helps of people like Candace and Tucker and all these other ones, why they still letting you and him run around here unscathed? It's just ridiculous. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, people like this who are so, I don't know if it's the money, I don't know if it's the fame, I don't know what the motivation is to just keep talking all this foolishness. But people like that who have no regard for anybody else, not even that the people that they claim that are very close to them, those people are I don't trust people like that. I don't trust people like that. And there is no way you could pay me to be around somebody like a Candace, as she has revealed herself to be, and think that everything is cool. No way. No freaking way. I wouldn't trust Candace with a 10-foot pole. I don't think Candace would spit on you if she saw you on fire. Even if y'all were cool. Okay, like, I just don't, she's just coming off as not a good person. I'm sorry. She just is. Like, no class. You got all this money, but you cannot buy class. Just so disrespectful to this woman's family. All keeping all this foolishness up. They got to come on there and debunk her foolishness every day. Child. Let's see. Where's the one with the pastor? There's one more. I have to show y'all this because this one for me just took the cake. It was nasty work. Oh my goodness, where is it? Did I not? Where is it? Sorry, y'all. 1 second.
I said there is no way we are going to this event now. There's a 0% chance, first and foremost.
That's not it. Sorry, guys. 1 sec. Yes, pure selfishness, DT. Hi, realtor. Just not able to think about anyone other than herself. It was like, I would have never expected that from Candace. That was that's just low down and dirty. Low down and dirty, honey. Oh gosh, this is so irritating me. I know I had it. Oh, 1 second, y'all. I know it must be painful for, I'm guessing, I don't know, for her not to have gotten a chance to say goodbye. Like, hey, that is just, that's a lot. I think this is,
I want to say to this, like,
There we
new flex operation mocking pastor, regarding which, by the way, the first time they went after Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, a source told me, and I would love to get this confirmed, I'm going to find this out, that $150 million was spent on that, and it came from Bibi Netanyahu. I would like to figure out if that's true. But anyways, obviously investigating this, and I'm not going to let it go, okay? You're not going to emotionally use some jujitsu, and I'm referring here to Roy or Rob McCoy, who says, I'm Charlie's pastor, and here's the truth, or whatever it is, to look the other way right now, okay? You're not going to tell me that I have to feel too bad to investigate who shot my friend in front of my face. So stop the nonsense. This is what Charlie's pastor passed around to all of the people that were intimidating Charlie leading up to his death. It's funny that Charlie's pastor couldn't find his voice when Bibi Netanyahu was lying about Charlie. His pastor, you know what he's saying are lies. No, he didn't find his voice saying anything about Bibi Netanyahu. Candace investigating things? Yeah, that's got to stop. Here's what he wrote, okay? What's his name? Rob McCoy. He wrote, Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, though he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this. I only wish at this tragic time of mourning, she would be the friend to Charlie Kirk that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers. A friend loves at all times, and he drops a biblical proverb. Now, let me say this, okay? I hope that Charlie would have been the sort of friend that I'm being, okay? He would have never, why? Why wouldn't Charlie Kirk have investigated if I had been killed and we were being so obviously lied to? I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. I think Charlie was a real friend and he would not have dropped it. He would not have let it go, least of all because he was being emotionally manipulated by a guy who curiously kept his mouth shut when Bibi lied. You knew, if you were really his close friend and pastor, how he was feeling about Bibi Netanyahu. You knew, if you're his close friend and pastor, exactly the names of everybody who was intimidating him and how poorly they are misrepresenting the things that he believed. So why don't you focus on being more honest as a pastor and giving as much information as you can possibly provide so that we can continue this investigation? If you can't do this, I'm going to have to ask for your silence, okay? Be quiet.
Ciao. Couldn't have been Antonio Benton. No, baby, no. I don't know if I would have had. Listen, how disrespectful to that man. Whew. Candace up here acting like she the damn FBI. She's acting like she is on the case. Girl ain't been to Utah. You haven't been to Utah. You didn't go to his funeral. You care so much. You up here capable. You want everybody to silence and sit down somewhere so you can be for what? You're not bringing no comfort. You're not investigating. You're not investigating. Your little picture and your little timeline that you done put girl, that is not investigation, okay? You're not investigating, Candace. Just stop. Everybody sit back so I can handle this. And I would hope that Charlie Kirk would put on his FBI or CIA shirt that I'm now selling, by the way. Get yours for $59.99. And just go out and get to the bottom of this. Yeah, because, they're not dealing with trying to actually bury him. They're not dealing with grief. They're not dealing with the children, trying to make sure. And then he has parents too. And, everybody is just kicked back, laid back, kicking that Georgia pride right now. They wasn't really up to nothing. They didn't really have anything else to do. Yes, Paul, DT. She thinks she's Nancy Grace. Even Nancy Grace is better on this stuff than freaking Candace. Woo, that thing, I could not even imagine being Erika and having to deal with, yes, Alethea. She became obligatory. Candace became a obligatory throughout this whole week. She's acting like a leftist. And she became obligatory. She showed us she does not care. It's all about Queen Candace. Whew. Too Too much. And the people that are buying her nonsense, I don't. Who is taking her serious? I really don't know. Why would you? It just doesn't make any sense. Like even the whole narrative about Charlie was changing his mind. He didn't like it. To me, she is damaging his reputation, because out of everything that we have seen from Charlie Kirk, we have a belief about him that he was a man of his word. Her saying this stuff is basically like, well, behind the scenes, he really wasn't the man that you actually thought he was. This is who he really was. Between that trying to damage his reputation and the pressure, not pressure, but the bringing up all of this stuff and the other grief that she has brought to Erika, child, I could not. Now, and see, I would have a problem forgiving her. I would have to. I'm going to say I would have a problem with it, but I would have to work up to that thing. Now, I would pray that I would get there quickly, but I would really be crying out to the Lord because I would be wanting to snatch every hair off of her head. Okay. I could, y'all. Too much. Mrs. Graves says, it's not love, comfort, a place of peace and support. The fruit is rotten. The spirit is chaos and bitterness and envy. And that's what I think too. Miss Realtor says the Candace cult is strong. It is, because day after day after day, people still watch her. This is Candace insinuated Israel assassinated Charlie again with no proof. On the show today, I do have one more clip. Actually, no, we're not even going to play it. She did say that she thought Erika's speech was, pivotal, and just a great speech, which she should have said. She should have been over there comforting his wife. She should have paused the show and went by Erika's side. Well, I don't know. I don't even know their relationship. So maybe they've been not friends, and maybe she didn't even have a relationship with Erika. I don't know. But I definitely would not be coming out of a bag right now. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's just lost so much respect. The little bit of respect I had for Candace is just gone. Yes, she is speaking like she wants the world to believe she knew Charlie privately better than his own. Yes, 100%. Mrs. Grace says Erika may have a harder time forgiving Candace because she knows better. His killer was pissed in program. Pooh! She's supposed to know better, right? She's supposed to. It's just a lot. You just show up. Her just showing up could have smoothed over all if there was any, beef, that all would have been out the window. You get over there, you put on an apron, you get in that kitchen, you cook, you go run errands, you do what you got to do. Just no class, no, that's just nasty. That's some nasty work right there. I don't have people like that around me. No way. No freaking way. All right, you guys, let's laugh a little bit. So Megyn Kelly went off on Jemele Hill, and I am so here for it. She dragged her. There's a couple words in there that are not too kid friendly, but let's take a look.
Called journalists who have it all wrong. Here's this jerk, SOP 15.
Of course, as you all know, in the wake of Charlie's murder, there was an incredible amount of angry discourse from the right, blaming the Democrats, blaming liberals, saying, you're the reason this happened. Only to find out, surprise, 22-year-old white dude, love guns, raised by two parents, lived in a good home. Dad is a minister, also a sheriff. Didn't check it in them boxes y'all thought he would check, did he?
Okay. First of all, a coat of mascara would be your friend. I'm just going to tell this to you, woman to woman on television. You need a little work, and you should have them back off the camera a little bit because you are not attractive enough to have that extreme close-up. Push away your laptop, Jamel, and add a filter or two. Honestly, like, we actually don't use any on this show because I do put on makeup, so I look presentable, but you need work because you can't both be ugly on the outside and the inside. You need to choose one, okay? Choose one. That is disgusting. That was absolutely disgusting. Fuck her. It's weird how she lost the points about him being a furry, loving, trans dating, I don't even know what this guy's fetishes were, but leftist ideology infected guy who wrote on his bullets anti-fascist catch and notices bulges OXO, etc. Didn't make her little monologue.
Whoo, baby. I felt every word of that. Every word. I felt it deep in my soul because Megyn Kelly was right. Jamel, girl, you should have backed away from the camera. Whew. Megyn went OFF. She dragged. Okay, dragged, dog walked her, dragged her. And you know, the thing too is, Jamel, I don't know if y'all were thinking that we were thinking that this was going to be some black guy. Nobody thought that he was going to be black, okay? Nobody thought, I don't know. I heard a couple of, like, I don't think anybody thought that he was going to be black. And we are well aware because we actually we care about these things. We've been knowing that they've been pushing these ideas onto the kids for years now. So what his parents did, we know that doesn't matter either. I don't know where have you been? In what world has it been like, oh, well, the parents are lefties and so the kids, that's why he's been at the college campuses, girl, because we know the kids are lefties, regardless of how they've been raised. What you talking about? Like, oh, I bet y'all didn't think his dad was going to be a cop. First of all, and his dad is not a minister. Oh, he's just a cop. Why not? It's not like you're like, oh, well, the dad's a cop. Let's not indoctrinate that kid. Y'all indoctrinate all kids. You try to. So what their parents do and the household that he came from doesn't matter, because once we let them into y'all's institutions for 2 seconds and they come out freaking brainwashed. Regardless of if they grew up in a Christian, stable home. We let y'all get your hands on our kids for 5 minutes and they have their minds drop out of their heads and just stay stuck in damn institution. Like, what the heck? It's insane to me. So no, we didn't think he was black. And we know that it doesn't matter what household they come from. If they go to one of these institutions, 9.99 times out of 10, they're going to be indoctrinated. It don't even take that long. Child, please. Oh, what's up? Hey, Chuck, what is going on? It's time for me to swing back over to the Keisha King show. Nah, y'all ain't ready. Oh, we ready. We are ready. And Chuck and I are definitely cooking up on something. I am not ready for, I'm not ready for that topic because I don't know enough. Like, I need to read up myself so I can either ask some good questions. So when we do have Chuck back on, but y'all, we definitely are having Chuck back on in the near future because there's a lot of stuff going on that as believers, we need to be watching and thinking about. And this is funny coming from Chuck because y'all know he always starts with, y'all know I'm not coming from a Christian perspective, but this time he is. And so I got to get my study up so we can have a dynamic and fruitful conversation. Yes, so I am so ready for that. But Chuck, in the meantime, did you catch my little piece here on Candace? Thoughts? Oh my goodness. Hi, Karen. Hi, Pi. Let's see. So I'm trying to find, let's see, Realtor said she watched Candace's show earlier. What did she say? Anyway. So how was the show earlier? What was she talking crazy, Realtor? Oh, he said, I sure did. Mrs. Gray says, my husband's private Christian university refused a vigil on campus. It was a huge scandal. Even the so-called Christian schools went, whoa, that is so true. And we've known that. So I don't know why, that is just how detached the left is. They don't know that we actually know their schemes and plots and plans. We know that. Y'all, we know, okay? Y'all ain't, you didn't get one up on us that the parents were conservative. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. We know that. We know that it's not something that, this is not the same. You can't apply this to the black, the same thing fathers being absent in the home. And it's not the same thing. Okay. This is a totally different thing. Anyway, these people make me sick. And between Jamel and Candace, it's crazy. But we're going to end on this note that we're going to end thinking about Erika Kirk and this call that has this call to be more like Christ than ever before. This call to be just to be better disciples, being better disciples and making sure we're drawing people in, spreading the gospel, spreading the good news, and listening for God for the assignment. What is it that he would have us to do in this time? So that's what I'm doing. And I pray that you guys join me on this journey. It's time to minister more. It's time to do more outreach. It is time to get in, to make God known and make heaven crowded. Let's see. Look, I got to see this right quick before we go. As always, Candace started with Erika's speech and then Tucker, of course. She then said that the feds are lying to us because of Kash Patel. Oh. She then went on a tangent of blaming so it's a Monday. It's a Wednesday. It's a day that ends in Y that we're going to blame the Jews. Okay, got it. So we don't need to go watch. Good gracious. I don't even know. I pray that all of this Jew hatred, I pray that stops. You know what? I'm going to add that to my prayer list. I'm going to pray that this hatred, just all of it, all of these, everybody just trying to spew words of hate, just stop on the right, the woke right with the Israel stuff, and the whole entire left with the not, just stop. People are dying. It is not worth it for you have to answer for this stuff. You're going to have to answer. You're going to have to stand before the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and explain to him why you blamed an entire nation for all your problems. You're going to have to stand before God and explain to him why you call people that you did not know Nazis and Hitler and all of that stuff. You're going to have to provide an explanation, and you're not going to have one. You're not going to have one. So go ahead and repent. Ask God to forgive you and stop doing it. Turn around. Stop doing this stuff. And let me say this too. Even if you're not directly saying, if you're inferring or you're trying to insinuate and this stuff, you're planting these seeds for somebody else to come and water, you're going to have to answer for that too. So just stop it. If you don't know or have a good, reasonable, rational answer, just shut up. Be quiet, because you're not helping. When you come in with these half-cocked, half-baked conspiracy theories, and the FBI is not doing the doggone thing when you ain't been you haven't looked at one evidence report. You don't know the evidence that's been collected. You have no idea. You don't know. You don't know. And you are so far from these investigations that even your speculation is it's just way off. Like you got to just stop. You're not helping. You're not helping America get closer to God when you keep putting all these seeds of doubt, because that is exactly what that is. Doubt. You are letting the enemy use you, because this is what happened in the garden. Anyway, I gotta go. Ooh, sorry. Oh my gosh. This is just, it's so bothering me. Realtor says, agree, Keisha, we need Jesus Christ. We really do. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you want to support the channel. There's Cash App and there is Super Chats and stuff like that too. So Alethea says, yes, we must be effective witnesses for Jesus Christ. People's hearts are open for the truth of the gospel. That is beautiful. We must be, keyword, effective witnesses for Jesus Christ. If we are on this internet and we are saying, I know the way, capital T, capital W, I know the way, and we talking about, well, the Jews and this, that's the same thing the left does. How am I more than a conqueror if I'm worried about the Jews getting me? Huh? How can I say, if God be for me, who finna check me if I'm the Jew, if it's a Jew around every corner ready to get me? You're doing the same thing that the left, particularly the black left. Oh, it's a white supremacist around every single corner. That's why you're the woke right. You ain't acting like you are in the shadow of the abiding in the shadow of the Almighty. You don't look like you doing that when you running around here talking about they gonna get me. Ooh, they finna get me. They gonna clone me. They gonna get me. They gonna Israel coming. The Jews are coming. Everybody's coming for me. I wish I would. Child, this is how you know. Anyway, all right, you guys. Oh, bless her. Also, my husband and I, we prayed for Candace this morning. So I know I was joking and stuff, but I really am praying for her. I'm praying for her because this stuff needs to stop. She has a lot of influence. Could you imagine how effective in the kingdom she would be if she really gave her heart to Christ? Man, Candace would be, she would be, you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna say this and then I'm really gonna go. God always calls us to humble ourselves, press ourselves down so he can bring us up. When we try to lift ourselves up, you're going to fall. But when you humble yourself, he will lift you up. And you ain't, the thing that Candace wants, all this notoriety, and God would do that for her if she submitted to his word and humbled herself and let him raise her up like Charlie did. But I don't know. She didn't get the lessons that he was putting down when she was with Turning Point. I don't know. Alethea says her husband doesn't check her on her bad behavior, which is not good. I've been thinking about that a lot. Me and my husband have been talking about that a lot. He sounds like an Ahab. Miss Graves says if she repents, people would forgive her too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely think he is I don't know how he didn't unplug every internet connection and hide every phone when he saw that she was going off on and looking like a whole fool before the whole entire world. I don't like, I was like, what husband lets his wife just look a whole, like, put Erika and them aside. Your family, your farmer family, your name. Oh, I'm sorry. She don't bury her name in public, but hey, that's y'all. I don't know about that. But this is your name that's on the line. These are your children, George, whose mother, your wife, is acting a whole donkey, and you won't out. My husband would have never let me do that. He would have never let me look so crazy. And here's something else I noticed too. Okay, I know I said one last thing, but there's so many things I've been holding in for so long. I just got to say it. When she did Tucker, there was a point when she was talking about how she wasn't going to drop the case, and she was going all the way to the trial and everything. And Tucker was like, "You're not gonna drop the case," and he was like, "Oh, go, that's amazing." I think he was laughing at her because he knows that these cases are super expensive, and they are, there's a lot of work, and again, super expensive. And for her to be like, "I'm going all the way," he was like, to me, I think, obviously I don't know, that he was like, this heifer is nuts. I really do think he was laughing at her. I don't think he was laughing with her. And I say that to say that, is there anybody around this woman that really loves her and cares about her? Because even George don't seem like he do. And if Candace is over there running the whole household, then again, it doesn't seem like he cares for her, because we know that that is not the order of God. And when women run the home, it doesn't go well. So it's just, I don't know, it's a mess, but we're praying for her. I'm praying for the Kirk family. I know you guys are too. We'll keep an eye on this story and see what will be happening. But thank you guys for joining me tonight on the Monday Night Lights. And I will see you throughout the week. And we will see you next Monday at 8:00 Eastern Time. Thanks for... Don't say that right now. So Palestine is officially a state now. We're in big trouble. Yeah, okay. Yes. We are. And I'm going to be reading about this stuff. So thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.